Just know that this recording is only for the FireUp Connect members, so they can watch it for some of the people that were not able to attend. But anyway, welcome to FireUp Connect, and this is an hour meeting. We try to accomplish 6 goals here. One is you want to understand the fundamentals of your products and services. Second is we want to have a quick introduction, but effective introduction. So we're going to have a Q&A as first part of our meeting. Third is we wanted to make sure that we establish a business relationship here, because we're all busy and we wanted to, use our time wisely by sparking a good business relationship here. Next is, we have a section of what we call expertise section. And so that will be the second part of our meeting. And we're going to talk about a specific topic, and you guys get to put your perspective on that subject. The fifth one is understanding. We want to make sure that we understand how you are as a business professional. So we can, maybe figure out how we can refer each other. We would like to have a lifetime referral from all our connections, and that's what we're aiming for. And lastly, we wanted to do a project collaboration. If you are an official member, definitely that's something that you want to aim for. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and welcome, and it looks like we have Steve Matley joining us also. Hold on. Hello, Steve, are you there? Are you available on video and microphone? Okay.
Yeah, it's coming in. There we go.
Okay, great. So we're just starting our meeting, and so I'm going to go ahead and welcome everyone. I also wanted to let everybody know Brian George is our new member of FireUp Connect. Congratulations, Brian. All right. So let's go ahead and start our meeting. This is a Q&A, and it looks like Fu is on the phone here. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Brian. Brian, since this is your first, this is actually your second meeting with us, what is your vision for being a part of FireUp Connect? And I'm going to go ahead and change the screen here. Go ahead.
So yes, this is my first official meeting as a member. Most of what I do is making connections with other professionals to see how we can help each other succeed in our businesses. I mostly target CPAs, attorneys, estate planning attorneys, real estate attorneys, other wealth advisors, because we do some very unique things that could be beneficial for their clients. And I believe in the and instead of the or. Shouldn't have to choose. We can all work together for the benefit of everybody. So it's working well. So I'm just expanding my network by joining FireUp Connect.
That is awesome. We're very honored to have you as part of the FireUp Connect. Anyway, so Brian, now you get to select any one of our attendees here, and you can ask a question, and they have the same time, a minute or two to answer.
Well, I think the guy wearing the San Diego State University Aztecs hat probably got a story to tell. So.
Okay, what's your question for Dr. Rob?
Why are you here?
Great question. Great to meet you, Brian, by the way. I'm here just to share my resources and abilities to help others in the PR/business visibility field. So if you need to get on TV, if you need to learn how to attract your ultimate leads, you need to get interviews, people usually turn to me, and then I just start doing press releases as well.
Awesome. All right, Dr. Rob, your turn.
All right. I'm sorry I'm going to do this again, but Paul, tell me about Rancho this week.
Oops, you, okay, there you go.
Can you hear me now? Yes, okay. Yeah. No problem, Rob. I always am one to talk about Rio, but yeah, so we sent over some documents to my attorney, so we're just waiting on a couple of responses, and my architect is excited. In fact, he texted me a couple of days ago and said, Paul, any word, what's going on? And I said, well, we're just waiting on my attorney to get back with some things that we need to discuss and setting up that entity. And he said, well, keep the vision going. And it's really nice when you have someone that sees a vision. And of course, this is way bigger than me. And Steve Matley, how are you, Steve? And Steve knows that too, when he first interviewed me. And so this is just, a times game. And if you have the stomach for it, I'm just very fortunate to be in this position. But in the interim, we are marketing more in San Francisco. My partner is opening up the office in Palm Desert in LA. And also I'm going to go visit my grandson in about 2 weeks, be out back in San Francisco, and then flying out to Italy. So I'm really happy about that. Yes.
Awesome.
Anyway.
All right, Paul, now your turn.
Well, even though I'd love to ask Steve some questions, but let me ask Justin here. Justin, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself, your aspirations, and what prompted you to come to this fantastic platform.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Justin. I appreciate the invitation to this new network right here. Currently, I'm a entrepreneurship major at Rowan University. I'm graduating in 6 days.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very excited. So I've been doing all like little ventures and whatnot. I have a 3D printing business and a moving company and a vending machine business going. I've also been doing construction for about 5 or 6 years for my father's company. This summer, I'm going to be traveling the world for about 3 months, and then I plan on coming back and getting into real estate. That's like my main goal. I want to be able to have little side hustles and things going on like that. But today I'm here, I got the invitation, and I've been trying to expand my network as much as possible to see if I could learn any new strategies and tactics and meet new people and see if I could also give back as well.
Awesome. All right, Justin, your turn to ask a question.
Okay, great. I'm going to pick on you, Steve, because I see you got some buildings in the background and I want to hear what you have. What's all that about?
This is actually a pending map in Arizona, southeast Phoenix metro area. It's 106 acres that we've put into the city. And unlike most of our projects we've done in the past in California, this one we started in January. We submitted it in April, and we expect to be through Planning Commission and City Council in June. We're doing a similar project in Riverside County, California. We are going on 3 years on that project, because that's the difference between California and working out of state.
Okay. All right. I think you have Fu as Fu. Are you available already, or are you still talking to someone?
He's got.
I think yeah, Fu. I think he's busy. So you get to ask me a question because he's not available right now.
Okay. So I ask you a question.
Yes, I'm the last.
Tell me all about your event last night, and who did you meet?
Oh my gosh. So we had all this reality stars from the Survivor, from the Amazing Grace. There's a couple of reality stars still. I just don't know. They're just like about 20 people, but Christina Korea was there from Survivor, and you know Christina Korea. And so she was really amazing. And so I had about 5 or 6 ladies for the finest women in real estate. And they all took turns to interview a lot of the reality stars. I actually interviewed Jillian Larson, which is really awesome to do that. And then after that, we just filmed the women for the real estate, and they gave their inputs, they gave their experience about being a part of the event. So it was really amazing. So I really enjoyed the meeting. And I broke my toe, so I had to be just sitting there and trying to give some instructions to everybody. So anyway, so that is what happened. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our next meeting, which is what we call expert section. So from what we were talking about, you know, being new in this group, especially for Brian, and trying to extend networking, I wanted to really understand the process of networking for each one of you. Now, what is your process when you network? And that's something that I would like to learn because I have my style of networking. So I wanted to get an idea of how you do it. So who would like to start first? Brian, go for it.
So most of my networking is done on LinkedIn. And that's because we had this little thing called pandemic going on and we couldn't meet face to face. And I decided that I still needed to be productive. So I actively reached out on LinkedIn. If you talk to me long enough, you hear me say that every sword has two edges. And the one of the edges of the COVID sword was that people got used to working remotely. And it was no longer strange. So it's now an accepted practice. So I use Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. I reach out to that target audience I talked to you about before. When people connect with me, I always ask if they want to have a quick 15, 20-minute introductory chat. Even if there's no apparent synergy between what we do, I still try to talk to them because there have been occasions where what I learned from one person, I was able to connect with, you know, someone else down the road. So even if it's not a direct connection for me, being able to connect other people has been beneficial. And because it's all about the relationships, you know. And now I'm doing business with people. Well, perfect example, CPA wanted to introduce me to his client. The CPA is in Tampa, Florida. The client's outside Dallas, Texas, and I'm up in Washington State outside Seattle. So distance doesn't matter as much anymore.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
that was my focus on networking, and it's a slower process. It's hard to build trust. It's harder when you're doing it remotely, but just have to have patience. You can do it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Brian. Okay, who would like to go next? Dr. Rob?
You're just talking about basic networking tips, like how to network properly.
It's whatever
How I'm doing it.
that you use for networking. It's what works for you.
Yeah, it's very similar to what Brian was talking about. It's mainly just setting up that 15-minute call just to kind of feel each other out and understand the qualifying process. Is this a person that needs something immediately, or is it the person that has access to resources? Is there something in my network that could help them? But you can find out a lot in those 15 minutes just by asking like direct questions and, you know, ascertaining what they have access to. You'd be surprised. Like somebody might know. I am 2 people away from Richard Branson, seriously, and it's just knowing the right people and the right steps.
Awesome. All right. Who's next? It looks like Jasmine will joined us. Welcome, Jasmine. Justin, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I currently my strategy for networking is I'm going to the business college right here. It's called Rower College of Business. There's plenty of networking events, and we have a module where at least weekly there's one event where it's networking, there's career fairs, there's like practicing for pitches, things like that. So I've met a lot of people through there. I'm also in a group called the CEO Club, where it's a whole bunch of entrepreneurs who are aspiring to start their own businesses. And then also I'm in a fraternity here. I was president last year, and I was in charge of connecting with the alumni. So I have a lot of connections like that. Right now, I'm not too keen on looking for specific characteristics of people other than the fact that they'd be motivated and have like the intentions to be making plans. And so right now I'm just meeting as many people as I can in hopes that I one day find something that would connect us together better.
Okay. All right. Who's next? Paul, Steve? All right, Paul, you want to start?
I was going to give it to Steve, but no, I'll go ahead and start. You know, I think the more that one gets involved in their business and years go by, you tend to see your type of personality. So, and the type of business. So my type of business doesn't really rely on gathering so many clients or customers per day. When you're dealing with multi-million-dollar projects, it's my process of networking might be within my sphere of people that I do business with, architect, attorney, city officials. Reading, I like to read a lot on certain, say, focus points on professionals and people that have really made a significance in life, because through them, even though they might not be in my industry, there's one thing that's in common that I've noticed with movers and shakers, is that they have a vision, they have a process, and they do anything in their mind or in their power to keep on the rails. Not that you have to be stiff-necked or anything and not want to talk to anyone, but you know, just knowing the direction. And I think that comes with time, and which I could really appreciate. Justin, when I was a lot younger, I did a lot of things, you know, and to this point, I'm thankful, because, you know, you end up building a good basis as far as a business person. But then you're going to come a time when you're going to really have to hone in on something. So that's what I do as far as networking.
Okay, great. Thank you, Paul. Steve?
My networking runs in two different categories. There's kind of general and there's very specific. General networking is just going out to different groups, associations, places like this, where there's a variety of people from different industries, backgrounds that you're meeting with and talking with, and just kind of letting them know who you are, what you do, and figuring out who they are, what they do, and looking to see, is there any connection, any commonality that you can work with. And there's very specific networking. I do this through real estate investor clubs, because I'm specifically looking for real estate investors, and the people that show up there are people that only showed up because they're interested in investing in real estate or learning how to invest in real estate. So it's a very specific, it's sort of a pre-vetted group, I guess, because of the nature of who they are. Last night, I was doing networking, not for my company, but for the college where I run construction management degree programs. I was at an ABC event, Associated Builders and Contractors, and I network with them specifically to find places for my graduating students to go to work. I look for people that can be guest speakers, people that can be future faculty members for me, teaching topics. And I'm also working on partnering with them to try and put together professional development certificate programs. So that was a very specific group to talk to, because those are all commercial, industrial, general contractors and trades. So I look at two different ways of networking. You have the general and specific, and that's my approach to it.
Okay. Jasmine, are you available? Fu, are you available, or you guys are just listening and can't talk? Okay, I'm gonna move on. And so this time we're gonna go ahead and actually, I want to say something about the networking too myself, because, you know, my format is getting to different types of industries. I've been in healthcare, fashion industry, sports entertainment, and of course, real estate. So I'm pretty broad when it comes to connecting with people. But what I always look for is, like in this group, I always look for the specific talents of people. If I see that you are good at something, I would try and find a way to work with that talent and figure out how I can connect it to other connections that I have from different industries. That's how I form so many projects, and how I'm able to form so many opportunities for myself and for other people. So I think, you know, if you're out there doing networking, not only that you wanted to, you know, find things that will help you, you need to also find ways that you can help others by looking at their specific talents and find a way to create opportunities for them. Because when you do that, they actually remember you, and they really will open up more doors for you when you do those kind of, you know, connections. So this is where I was able to, and I've told this story before, where I connected to someone who was not even in the real estate industry. And I saw that his talent was, you know, understanding the opportunity, and he finds the people too. So I educated him on the real estate opportunity, and he connected me to a very large investor because he learned something from me, and that's how he connected me to that. So those are the things that you might want to think about if your product or if your services is in specific industry. You definitely wanted to open doors for other people to connect within their own industry, but also at the same time, they will open doors for you. And so just keep that in mind. All right. Okay, so let's do this. If you can go ahead and take 30 seconds and put your comments about what you heard from everyone in terms of this subject, that would be amazing. We'll take 30 seconds. And you can put it on chat for everybody to understand or to read it. Yes, that's true, Brian. Thank you, Paul. Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Good idea with Steve. And if you want to take the time also to put in your contact information so everybody can get a hold of each other, you can do that too. Yeah, thank you, Steve, for that. That's true, Justin. We create value. Richard Branson set the bar. That's true. Dr. Rob, you can expect everything. It's fun to work with Dr. Rob, by the way. So just so you know, he's got a lot of amazing people. He is with the veterans military. He works with a lot of veterans. So if you get invited to his meetings, you know, it's really interesting. There's a variety of people there that you will get to meet. Yes. All right. So while you guys are doing that, I just want to explain our next meeting. Okay, Jasmine, we understand. I'm glad that you're still here. Okay, so the next one is what we call business share time. This is where you have an opportunity to let people know what are some of your success stories, or if you want to share a specific challenge that people can give you some recommendation or maybe some ideas to help you out, or a specific goal that you wanted to accomplish and give us a time frame of completion. So maybe people can give you a referral, or they can give you some ideas to also help you fulfill that goal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with Brian. Brian, are you comfortable being the first one?
Sure. I've gotten over my laid back introvert stage of my life, and now I talk to people all the time. So
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
so a goal. So what I do is very specific. We deal with charitable planning, tax deferral planning, and cash flow planning, as in how do you fund extremely large life insurance projects when you don't want to pay $1 million a year. So, but that's only impactful for high net worth and very high net worth individuals. And most of them are not inviting me to their compound in Martha's Vineyard for lunch. So the goal is to reach out to those people I talked to you about, CPAs, the attorneys, the other wealth advisors. And the goal is not to have 100 of these people that I'm trying to work with. The goal is to maybe have 12 to 15 and have very, very deep relationships where we built up the trust, where they're willing to put me in, not only in front of their clients, but in front of their best clients.
Yes.
And I'm about halfway there now.
Okay.
So about halfway there. So by the end of the year, I'd like to at least have, you know, an even dozen of those really deep relationships. Attorneys, CPAs, other wealth advisors, specifically estate planning attorneys, real estate attorneys. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's the goal.
That's awesome. We do know someone in our group who is a member, who's a great real estate attorney. So it's something that we can connect you to. All right. Who's next? Dr. Rob?
Yeah, my immediate goal is just to fix my magazine. I have a business magazine called Shift Advanced Life Design, and just some of the systems haven't been super fluid. Comes out every other month. It is digital in nature. I've gotten some pretty high level interviews throughout it, but I haven't, just to be honest, like I've had it 4 years and I haven't still run it like a business. I do have a staff, I do have a regular production schedule, but I haven't really put enough hours into it to make it a dynamic product. I'm gonna put a link in comments. It's free to read if you guys want to check it out. But just working on the actual systematic processes of magazine production, I think, is what I need to definitely work on soon.
That's awesome. And he's got beautiful cover for his magazines. I've seen it, very well done. Okay, let's go to Paul.
Yes, I'm open to anyone's suggestion, but I think we're right at that stage now where my attorney is looking over an agreement from the architect. Now, one thing about us, and I'm sure that Steve will vouch for this, when you are promoting such a big project, there are going to be agreements that come in, but we always want to have the master agreement, so to speak, because this is going to help us to keep on the rails, right? And for us to have that last word and to have control over this. And it's not that you're selfish, but definitely if it is a vision, you want people to get on board and help you to accomplish that. Hence, they will be compensated for that. But to have someone come in with an agreement to derail you, that's where arguments start, and it could be very, very messy at the end. So just to keep, things tidy from the beginning, we review contracts. It will have to fall under our master agreement for anybody that's going to be getting involved with us. The other thing is, on a project like this, it does take time. This isn't something that happens overnight. But in the interim, I'm working on my marketing in San Francisco, and I'll be there in a couple of weeks, not only to see my grandson and my son and his fiance and some family, but to see how things are going in this marketing campaign, because I deal specifically in San Francisco proper with, just existing real estate out there. And we have both my partner and I, we have things in common, that we're both in the general contracting and real estate industries. And I'm also an electrical contractor out of there. So we've grown up in this industry. So I think we have an edge on certain things just to keep those beautiful historical buildings going and helping people. But I think where I might need some help is, to keep this vision going and keep motivated. Sometimes I don't take a break, and that's why I'm going to be flying out to Italy and see some friends, and we're going to be on a road trip for about three weeks. And Italy happens to be a country that I like, and so. And my dad's side of the family, they're from Barcelona, so I've been back there quite a few times. But it's nice to unplug. But if anyone has some tips on just keeping business going, and I'd be more than happy to listen to this. But anyway, that's my big thing right now.
All right, thank you, Paul. All right, how about Steve?
Oh, well, I got a lot of things going on right now. We're working on projects and focusing on Arizona right now. We have projects in Florida, Texas, California. We're finishing out California. Focus is right now is in Arizona, where we seem to be making those projects seem to be the most available, easiest to do right now. So raising funds for additional projects. I have a series of projects going through. We're always looking for investor partners that want to throw in with us, be a part of it. Most of them are $25,000 minimums. I look for people that can help point us to buyers for the finished projects if they have connections with builders, developers in the area. We have a network, but we always welcome offers from other builders and developers, especially in areas outside of California. Most of our contacts were in California. We do have relations other places, but we're always looking for introductions to buyers. Like Marie introduced us to a buyer for our Florida project we had not previously known. Close that out in December. We also look for available land. If you know anybody that's got chunks of land available that are not listed that may be wanting to sell off, or if you see something that looks viable in markets that are in expansion growth markets, we're generally looking in Florida, Texas, Arizona, but we also have been looking in Tennessee and in Idaho and some other states that we can work in. Generally, growth areas, our market study that tells us where to go is basically where the Californians move to. That's as simple as it is. It's wherever people are moving to, we know there's booming markets. Phoenix, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Central Florida, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Tennessee area, both Knoxville and Nashville. We kind of stay out of Western Tennessee. That's Memphis is a little harder town to work in. So that's anywhere that is booming right now. Tucson, any of those areas. So that's what we have working, and we're always welcome anybody that wants to work with us and collaborate with us. If you have ideas, if it's something you want to learn about with us and you have something to bring into a project with us, land, money, expertise, partnership, whatever, we're always open to working with anybody in those realms.
Okay.
So we have working.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Justin, you're next.
Okay, for this prompt, just the goals or the
It's whatever you want. You can talk about success story, challenges or goals, and you can combine it however you want it.
Okay, great. So my main goal really is after I graduate, Paul, I'm actually going to Italy too. 2 days after, I'm going to Italy. I'm going to Israel for a week, and then I'm going to Croatia and then Mexico. So this summer I'm just going to be traveling around a lot. But when I get back, my goal is to be buying property down here at Rowan. I plan to live there for a year or two and then do construction with my father and work my way up the ranks. I've done framing and I've been a foreman for about 4 or 5 years, but I plan to become a contractor and then continue on my vending machine business, but push that on to other people and just have passive income coming in. But after a year or two of living in that building, I really want to start renting out to college students. That's one thing that we're a market that I'm very familiar with. I know what landlords have to go through. I know what properties are valuable around here, and I know what college students are looking for. Rowan right now is a smaller school, but their rate of growth is increasing every single year. And I believe that they're going to be D1 soon. So right now, my goal is to be able to find people that possibly would want to do business with me in real estate. I'm not currently sure yet if I want to do this all by myself or if I want to have a partner. I was actually in a motorcycle accident 2 years ago, and so I actually ended up getting a good amount of money from that. And so I have enough capital, but I believe that capital isn't all you need. It's more of not what the person has, but who they know and what they know. So as regards to the partnership, I'm still trying to figure out if that's something I want to do. But I really plan to get my license, get all the requirements that I need, and find more properties that I see could hold good value. But right now, also, I'm not too familiar with the real estate market, and the market is chaotic. And so I'm not sure if I should wait another year or two, or if I should act on something right now. I'm not looking for a good deal. I'm looking for a steal, something that I can get at the best price possible, and not something that's already, I'm not looking for a nice house. I'm looking for something that I can fix up myself. I have private contractors, I have HVAC people, I have all type of good connections already in the construction industry. So I'm looking to build that up a little bit, and that's my plan. That's where I'm going from.
Awesome, Justin. Okay, Jasmine, are you available?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Good, good. So your turn.
Tell me what the question is. I just
Okay,
got
so
tuned
this
in.
is where the part where you can share a success story or a challenge or a specific goal.
Okay, I have all tied in one.
Yes, go for it.
So success story and challenge and all that stuff is all in the same thing because recently we have just decided we're launching a fund. So my partners and I are going to do $100 million raise for people who are looking to get involved with funds. So I'm currently sit on the board of Alternative Wealth Partners, of which we already have one, specifically a hedge fund, which we invest in fintech, just companies. We have about a 50% IRR in the beginning, IR, and then a 8% preferred rate on that one. So that one's doing tremendous. And we've decided to move forward with another one. This one's going to be all backed in real estate, either mortgages, like that's what my original thing is, or actual commercial real estate. A lot of triple net leases and things like that. So if you understand the language, that's what we're getting into. So the challenge is that we have $100 million to raise, and Marie is going to be very instrumental in helping me with that, because we're going to be doing a lot of the radio show stuff. So I have questions for you on that as far as the demographics before we sign up. But just, yeah, embarking on a new adventure to help more people get involved with the profits that I'm getting from this mortgage note investing. And I'm realizing that not everyone is equipped, has the time to, or even interested in learning how to actually buy a note and work it out, and all that good stuff. So for those of you who are at a different stage of your life, then that's what we're doing. I'm working with a lot of accredited investors, family officers, and people who have just C-level executives who have retired and they're saying, hey, if I can just get a steady 8%, I will never need to work again. So that's what we're doing, and just excited to be in San Diego with Marie and having her team up with me on that.
Yes, and how did you feel about the last night event? Because you were there at the reality rally.
Yes, spent time at the reality rally. It was amazing. Just a new whole space for me, as someone who doesn't watch TV. So not knowing that there was even a little clique that was like that existed. So yeah, just wonderful to know that there's so many different select successful groups that are also giving back. So that's really one of my passions, is to give back. So excited that they're working and invited and introduced me to a new charity, the Michelle's Place. But just a great group of people, very welcoming. And it was in Temecula at the Wilson's Winery, so you can't go wrong with that. And once again, great group of people. We did some interviewing and met people that I would have otherwise not had the opportunity to meet. So thank you for that.
Yes, and you were amazing. You were a great host.
I hope so. It was my first time at it, but I'm getting motivated to do more of it. So thank you for introducing me to this.
All right, anytime, Jasmine. Okay, Fu, are you available by any chance? I saw that you were texting. I'm not sure if you're free to talk. No, looks like he's still busy. Anyway, okay, so let me go ahead and ask everyone about feedback, comment on so far from what you have experienced from this meeting. Justin, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. Since this is your first time visiting and you got to meet the members, what is your take on this meeting? And is there any opportunities or ideas that you got out of what you heard from everybody?
Great. So far, the biggest thing that I could tell is I'm the young dog out here, so I got a lot to catch up to. I have a lot to learn of. And so although I know a fair amount, I'm always looking for new things and new people to get advice from and tips. And so far, like Steve, what he just said right there, that's something that I had in the back of my mind, but that's great advice and I completely agree with it. But seeing that you guys seem pretty successful and what you're doing is working for you, having my thoughts reassured by someone with experience just really helps out. And so far, this is an hour of my day. And I feel like I had nothing to lose by coming here. I just really wanted to push myself, go out, meet as many people as I can. And what I've got from it so far really helped. And I plan on coming back to more meetings.
Okay. Well, I kind of want to stress out what Steve had shared with us way back, where he was also part of a group of guys. Steve, you want to kind of share that story, your experience with also, you were the young person in that group. Remember that?
Well, that depends which group of guys, because I've had several group of guys that I've been part of, and group of gals too. But
the one with Whitney.
which one?
The one with Whitney.
Oh, Whitney. Okay, so yeah, that was one I got into by accident. I didn't. And it's funny when sometimes you just got to show up even if you don't want to. I kind of got invited to this deal, and I didn't really want to go because I didn't feel like being at a restaurant at 7 o'clock in the morning on a weekday. But kind of got invited to this deal, and through a connection sort of thing. And this guy calls me, he says, look, I'll buy you breakfast the first time you come out, you join us. We're just a bunch of guys that sit around and talk business and stuff. I said, okay. So I showed up and I got there. The youngest guy in the group is 18 plus years older than me. That's actually my current business partner in Florida. That's where I met him that day. But we didn't do business for the next 10 years together. Anyways, so I met him. The average age around this table, this is at a Baker Square in Palm Desert on 111 and Highway 74, 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. The average age was like deceased. I mean, these guys were old. This is Palm Desert, right? This is the desert. It's retirement area. But as they go around the table and they're talking, let's see, we have a retired bank president out of New York City, someone that was high up in the State Department, a guy that at that time was one of the biggest real estate brokers in Orange County. There was a guy that owned a chain of restaurants. I knew all the restaurants that he owned. So it's like, these are players. These are real deal people, brokers. The guy that ran it was a quadriplegic. He had been one of the very last of the polio victims. He got polio literally like 2 weeks before the Salk vaccine and ended up being a quadriplegic. But from his wheelchair, he had become the leader. He'd become the main guy at the Merrill Lynch office in Los Angeles, had a big place in Bel Air, and he retired in the desert. So I ended up going to this meeting, and I went every Tuesday, I think, with very few exceptions for probably the next 5 years. And I would just show up as a young guy. I was in my 20s back then. So, like I said, the next youngest guy was in his 40s, and he had been in Vietnam the year I was born, actually. So, that's how much older he was. I just showed up, shut up, and listened, because I didn't really have a lot to bring, but boy, I was like a sponge sucking in everything these guys said. They knew everything about business, about family, about relationships, about everything, finance, everything, and their experiences. So that was actually a fantastic opportunity and exposure for me to learn from the older and the wiser. And I encourage if you have an opportunity to go and find people like that and somehow luck into a group like that, just, take full advantage of it. I volunteered they had some events they did. I volunteer for that stuff, just to spend more time with them. And actually the guy that is my vice president of my company right now, who really heads up most of our acquisition, he lives in Florida. I met him that day, and we became very good friends. We were good friends for 10 years before we became business partners. So that's kind of my story of that group.
Now, did you find any opportunities, or what did you think about this meeting so far, Steve?
This meeting?
Yes.
I always enjoy this meeting, and unfortunately, this meeting always shows up on when I have other things going on. It's a time of the day where I have other things. Matter of fact, I keep getting messaged for people that want to meet with me right now at other places. But so it's what it is. But I enjoy the group, and you always bring pretty good quality people into the group. And obviously, I know some of them. I know obviously Paul, I've met. He's been on my radio show before. We have obviously a lot in common because we're very much in the same kind of industry. But also Martha, who's not attending today. She's an interesting person to talk to. So I know some of the people in the group. But this is always a good group. I always learn, and it's always great to meet other people and hear their stories and find out where they're coming from.
Awesome. All right, Brian, what about you? What's your thought about this meeting? And
Well, I'm just soaking it in. I mean, there's some people I've met before. There's some new people that I am looking forward to having conversations with and getting to know more about. So I welcome anyone who wants to have a quick introductory chat where we can dig a little deeper
okay.
and talk. We are
Okay, who
welcome.
do you have specific in mind?
Everyone that I haven't talked to already.
Okay,
Cover me.
that's
Okay.
Jasmine, Steve.
Jasmine will be one.
Bob.
Jasmine,
Yeah.
Justin. I've already talked to Paul. I haven't talked to Steve.
Let's
Talked
see,
to
is your
you already.
information in the chat? Let me check.
My email and my phone number is in the chat.
Perfect. I will go grab it before she. It's Brian at Charitable Planning.
Yep.
Yes,
That would
and
be
Dr.
me.
Rob, did you get to talk to Dr. Rob too?
Yes. I've
Okay,
actually been on one of his calls.
awesome. Okay, now, Dr. Rob, you're next. What do you think?
Actually, no, I haven't talked to Rob. I was thinking Paul. Sorry.
Okay.
Like, what did I learn from the call, or what was the question?
So what do you think about the meeting? From what you heard, did you find any opportunities, ideas, and
Absolutely. I would like to talk to Justin at some point. I'm probably going to reach out to him online, just to kind of see if I got anybody in my network that can kind of give him some mentorship, some ideas, some things to look out for when investing in, rental properties, stuff like that. I have a lot of people in my network that are pretty heavily into the real estate game, and it's always talking about what Steve said. If you could find somebody that's 20, 30 years invested in your industry that knows the pitfalls, it'll save you a lot of money and a lot of pain. So I'll reach out and say hi and see what I can share.
awesome. Okay, Paul, what about you?
I mean, there's so much from here. I'm here practically 99% of the time. And, you know, I'm a busy man too, but what I get out of this is just people from different industries coming in. And it's almost like therapy for me to hear people with their concerns, what they're doing for business. And I tell you, you know, sometimes it's not the person that's in your industry that's going to motivate you, but someone that says something, because at the end of the day, any of our businesses is for the general public, right? You never know who you're going to meet that wants to be part of this vision of yours or your service. I think too, like what Steve said, I was very fortunate when I was younger. One of the youngest in my family as far as the kids and cousins. And so I was always around older ones, and growing up, my father was very busy. So I always noticed that I would always gravitate to those wise people. And one thing I do appreciate in this meeting is Justin, him being so young. And, you know, I don't want to involuntarily, you know, tell you what to do. But one thing that's nice about meeting like this is some sound advice, like for a businessman to a young person that wants to take the world, you know, by the reins. And that's fantastic. You have a little money, be careful, you know, don't be so quick to give it up, and kind of vet your people. But listen, like what Steve said, if you could be around older ones, there are a lot of opportunities, but everyone and their brother wants to flip and wants to do this. So start to look outside of that, and feel free to, anytime that you want to, you know, talk or pick my brain, I'm always open for that. I think one thing that I've learned from Marie is to be of service. Like I was at a meeting and I heard that the new, you know, what is it? Helping others is the new, you know, service. So just being of service to people is really where I'm seeing that you're getting a lot out of this. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
All right, Jasmine, I know it's the last minute for you, but what do you think?
Sorry about that. Yeah. I love making this meeting as much as I can, specifically because the people that Marie attracts all seem to have the same thing in common, which is they're very motivated and ambitious. So ambition is something that a characteristic I look for entirely. And I do agree with what the past gentleman just said about just a lot of these spaces being very crowded. So everybody flipping, and just with the corporations coming into the retail market, that's one of the reasons why I teach and train people to get involved with the mortgage note investing. So I'll definitely be communicating with all you guys about what that space looks like whenever we talk, and just kind of educating that it exists. A lot of people don't know that you can buy someone's mortgage, and there's a lot less competition fighting over your mortgage than there are these homes and the traditional things. So yes, I've always been that person to be not necessarily afraid of crowds, but not attracted to crowds, right? I think, and I love quality over quantity. So that is how I would explain this group. We have a lot of quality people, and that is why it's worth my time to show up as much as possible. Thank you.
Awesome. And I want to check if Fu is available or not. Just turn on your mic if you are. If not, we're gonna.
I am. I'm here.
Yes, there you are. What do you think?
If you unlock me from using my video, I can put my
Oh,
video. Right
I thought it was you were still busy.
I was, but now
Hold
I'm
on.
in
Start.
video prison. I
There you
can't.
go. All right, there you go, Fu.
I was like, I can't get in. So I was
you
like just in the
tested
chat,
me.
just trying.
So go ahead,
Anyway.
Fu. What do you think?
I think it's good. I think one great thing, I guess, like everybody here, just like Justin is such an impressive thing, right? Because he's young, and I went to your LinkedIn, and you have a bachelor. Seems like you're gonna finish on entrepreneurship. That's something that it's kind of cool to see that like you're going the traditional route, but you still going to the entrepreneurship route. Like you're doing kind of both at the same time. So that's kind of cool. Something that I wish I would have done, you know, I was going for engineering because my mom kind of forced me, and look at me now, like I'm the CEO of a successful PR firm. So like, you know, I'm excited for getting to know you better. I sent you the connection request, and one thing is, you know, good to see Dr. Rob, even though that we talk on Messenger all the time, at least I can see his face here. You know? And I don't know. I just I think that it's cool. It's always cool to connect with some people. Always good to see the regulars like Paul, and you, and like I have things to talk to you. So if there's
Yeah,
anybody that I need to talk
talking
to, it's to
about
you. So,
bringing somebody for a radio show, a new connection for a radio show. So that's also cool. Fu actually is very impressive because some of the guests that he brought in are very well knowledgeable about a lot of things in the public relation and branding. And I was very impressed with the guests that you brought into your radio show. And it's pretty cool what you've got as part of your connection.
and one thing that I want to add real quick is that thanks for that experience. It really taught me a lot on how to be a host and it motivated my clients. Now, Jason Miller was actually the first person ever that I interviewed in the radio show. And now he has his own podcast called War Room Moments. And not only that, yesterday he called me at night to tell me that he was on a conversation for like 3 hours with Philip Lanos, which is a podcast host for Entrepreneur, that left Entrepreneur, and now they're cooking to get the War Room Moments syndicated on Inc. magazine, also Inc.com. So this is a huge deal, and all started because of like me going to the radio. They liked it, and it's like, oh, let's do now their own podcast. And now look at that, like they're getting close to get affiliated with Inc. magazine. So
Well,
it's
I
pretty
just
cool.
want to also mention Steve Matley has his weekly radio show called Building Solid Foundation, and he actually owns the Building Solid Foundation channel network in Roku, and it is now live on Amazon Fire TV and Android app, right, Steve? Okay, so if you guys wanted to go look at your phone, if you have Android, Google Play Store, look for Building Solid Foundations and download that app, and you'll see all the TV shows, all the radio shows that we created for 3 or 4 years. So they're all in there. And Paul actually is the host for Real Men and Real Estate. So he is there. And Dr. Rob, we interviewed him several times in Fabulous Lifestyle. And Dr. Rob, my interview with you on Fire Up Connect is also going to be published, broadcast soon in Fire Up Connect radio talk show. So we're working on that and trying to put that out also for the radio show. Now, I know that I'm supposed to interview Brian George for the radio show, and I want to connect you. It's good that Steve is here because it will be great for you to connect with Steve and Paul because they do have radio shows. So it's just a matter of what works for them. And then Fu is a PR guy, and Jasmine was in the International Wealth Builders Association radio show with Harrison Silverstein. And so Jasmine is also going to be hosting one of the shows for Fire Up Connect. So it's there's a lot of exciting things here with the radio show and with all the new events that we're creating. By the way, I'm planning an event for Real Men of Real Estate in August here at the Rancho Bernardo golf course. And this is where I'm inviting all the people from Fire Up Connect, all Real Men of Real Estate and Finest Women in Real Estate to be in that event. And we're also doing a big launch of the network in October, right, Steve? This is where we're doing like a Fire Up Live event, launching all the networks, and all the members of Fire Up Connect will be there. So Fu, if you want to travel, definitely you're gonna have to travel, and Brian too, right? So Steve, you were gonna say something?
No, I said the launch will be celebrating not just the channel on the multiple platforms, but also all the different various shows. My show plus all the shows that Marie produces. One reason that I put those together was when Marie first started doing these shows, she was reliant on a third party to put these up on the streaming platforms, and that third party turned out to be a little bit unreliable. So I just told her, instead of fighting that, put our own up. And so we started with the Roku channel because that is the largest of the streaming platforms, and then worked in order, Amazon and then Android. The Apples are still on the list, but Apple, both their Apple TV and the iOS, the tablet and phone platform together are about 5% of the total distribution of streaming. So, but we'll still look at it because there's a lot of Apple users out, and most of them tend to use small screen. What's that?
Showed me where the Roku has so many, so many percent in the, do you still have that chart that you can show everyone?
Oh, I'd have to access it. I'm not sure which file it's under. But yeah,
so-
we have a chart that breaks down the percentages of which platforms have, what level of the market, which percentage of the market. And so I just ran down by the percentages and just did one at a time. I hire an app designer to put those together. So,
Yeah, so
but yeah, any of Marie's shows that she does, we put up on there. And so if you are working with Marie and either going to one of her existing shows as one of the cycling guests, or if you do your own show, I do my own, which is a weekly show. As long as the audio and visual quality is what it needs to be, we're happy to host it on the channels.
okay, and that's a really good education. Okay, we're already 12 o'clock. Totally appreciate your time today. And Justin, if you are interested in joining this group, just let me know. We can do a one-on-one meeting. Okay, and again, I thank everyone. Brian, again, welcome to Fire Up Connect. We're very happy to have you on board. By the way, we do have another member. His name is Nestor Morales, and he has his own business, solar business in Mexico, and he's expanding. He's also looking for investor. He's going to be joining us maybe next week. But we're getting some really solid members here. Martha actually just had a big event in Chicago, and I don't know if you saw, she did a 3-minute speech in Spanish, and she said she's going to try and translate that to us. And the reason why she did it in Spanish, because she wants to make sure that her parents can understand what she was saying. But she did a really good job. She published a Latina book with other authors, and it was a grand launch that they had in Chicago. So that was very exciting. And she's working on her photo shoot for the magazine that because we're releasing a magazine for Fire Up Connect that I wanted to highlight all the members. And Martha is going to be the first one who's going to be the cover of that magazine. She's so excited. And she did a photo shoot yesterday, I believe. May 4th, I think, when she did her photo shoot. So any questions or any announcement?
Marie, one thing I'd like to interject to Justin, if he's still on board here, is, the young ones like Fu and Martha, awesome. They add a certain energy to this group. And what's nice is just different generations just coming together is, to me, that component is second to none. The other thing is, I'm just so happy to be part of this for sure.
Yes, thank you. And we appreciate your attendance here, Paul, because you do, you're here all the time, and you get to meet a lot of people. And that's one thing I love about this meeting. Any other comments? And I think Fu is getting tired. already.
One-dimensional food. Oh my goodness.
He's working like crazy.
Yeah, my Fridays have been like almost like arguably my most productive days lately. Like this is like my 5th Friday in a row that I just do a lot of like very productive stuff. So yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of becoming a thing now, and why not, right? I just finish the week strong every day, and then I kind of feel like I earned my weekend type stuff. Like I need to study. I have a course now for pitching, to get better at pitching and everything. So I'm going through that to get to, because I have like the old school method, because my senior publicist it's like 62. So like he was a journalist, but now I'm learning more how to leverage the Twitter and everything for like the new school, like more younger journalists and reporters. So yeah, and because she wants me to learn this, so then I can pitch to her contacts and herself. She writes for Inman, biggest real estate publication in the United States. So I sent her a pitch, and she's like, "Have you gone to my model too?" I'm like, Jesus. So okay, it's like, and I told her, look, I'm gonna prioritize it during the weekend. Don't worry. So that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. Anybody else? No.
I would just like to say thank you actually for inviting me to this, and I'm very happy that I ended up coming. I was pretty busy today too. Fridays are, I agree, a good day to get your stuff done. That way the weekend could be a little bit more relaxed.
Okay.
And I would be very interested in joining this Fire Up Connect group. Yes.
Okay, that would be amazing, Justin. So we do meet every Tuesday at 3:00 p.m. and every Friday at 11. So you get to attend 8 meetings a month. So whatever works for you, everybody comes here, and we always have new people. And it's today, it's actually a really good day for us to just, meet the official members. And then, every time sometimes we have like, 10 people that are new and we don't know who they are and they're all just here. So it just depends. Sometimes I'm the only woman and sometimes I'm Paul is the only man, and it just, so there's so many varieties of meeting here. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Brian. Any comments? Are you good?
And I'm looking forward to getting to know people a little better, especially Rob, because I have an interesting San Diego State University story he might find amusing.
That's awesome. All right. So make sure you save the chat and follow up. Again, the key is to have that one-on-one meeting with everybody and start collaborating. And then, don't miss the meetings because there's so many great opportunities here. Again, this is where I've benefited myself. I've had so many connections through the meetings and the extended meetings that you get invited to. Okay. All right. Thank you. Have an amazing weekend, you guys, and enjoy. And I'll see you next week.
Take
Good
care. everyone.
job. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.